Please subscribe to this channel for more videos related to Catholic Christian teaching. In Aristotelian metaphysics, an accident is a property that the entity or substance has contingently, without which the substance can still retain its identity. An accident does not affect its essence. Examples of accidents are color, taste, movement, and stagnation. Essence is used in philosophy and theology as a designation for the property or set of properties that make an entity or substance what it fundamentally is, and which it has by necessity, and without which it loses its identity. St. Thomas Aquinas and other Catholic theologians have employed the Aristotelian concepts of substance and accident in articulating the theology of the Eucharist, particularly the transubstantiation of bread and wine into body and blood. In this example, the appearance of bread and wine are accidents. At transubstantiation, they become incidental to the essential substance of body and blood. The accidents of bread and wine continue after the change of the substance. According to the explanation of the Council of Trent, the change extends only to the substances of the bread and wine, while the appearances or accidents remain behind. Only the appearances of the bread and wine remain. By the appearances is understood everything which is perceived by the sense, such as size, extent, weight, shape, color, taste, smell. The sacramental accidents retain their physical reality after the change of the substance. Many Cartesian theologians of the 17th and 18th centuries, for example, Emmanuel Maignan and his pupil John Sagan, deny the physical reality of the accidents by applying to the doctrine of the Eucharist the teaching of Descartes that there are no absolute accidents, that is really distinct and separable from the substance, but only modal accidents, that is not really distinct from the substance and therefore also not separable from it. They declared the sacramental appearances to be subjective impressions of the senses, effected in a miraculous manner by the omnipotence of God. René Descartes was a French philosopher, mathematician, and scientist who invented analytic geometry. In his rationalism philosophy, he views reason as the chief source and test of knowledge. More formally, his rationalism can be defined as a methodology or a theory in which the criterion of the truth is not sensory but intellectual and deductive. This theological opinion is incompatible with the teaching of the Council of Trent, which says that all appearances remain, that is, stay behind after the transformation of the point of departure, and with the teaching of the whole tradition, which has not the slightest doubt that an objective reality corresponds to the impressions of our sense. Recall that transubstantiation signifies a change. Change in the passive sense is the transition of one thing into another thing. The following elements pertain to this change: a point of departure which ceases to be, and a point of destination which commences to be. An inner connection between the ceasing of the point of departure and the beginning of the point of destination. A common remaining third which after the conversion binds together the two extremes. St. Augustine comments, "Thus what you see is bread and a chalice. Your own eyes tells you that. But what your faith must learn is this: the bread is the body of Christ. The chalice is the blood of Christ." According to St. Thomas Aquinas, it is evident to the sense that all the accidents of the bread and wine remain after the consecration. With the concept of sacrament, which demands an objective sign, if the sacrament is not to become a merely apparent sacrament. The sacramental accidents continue without a subject in which to inhere. It follows from the dogma of the transubstantiation that the accidents after the change of the substances of the bread and wine exist without their own natural substance in which to inhere. The Council of Constance rejected Wycliffe's thesis, which states that the accidents of bread do not remain without a subject in the same sacrament. The body and blood of Christ cannot be bearers of the accidents of bread and wine, nor can any other substance. It follows from this that the accidents continued without any subject. The Roman Catechism calls this teaching the perpetual and constant teaching of the Catholic Church. The continuance of the accidents without a subject is made possible by the divine omnipotence. Please go to YouTube Retirementality channel, playlist Sacraments, for the complete series of these materials.